I'd just like to take a minute to talk about the recent hurricane and all of the folks who were negatively impacted by that. I know it's been several weeks, but the cleanup and the recovery from that event is going to go on for months, if not years. The furniture industry has reached out and, as it always does, comes to the aid of people in need. If you would like to contribute, if you would like to help, please go to the FurnitureToday.com website. We have lots of information there on companies, on organizations that are trying to bring relief aid to the area, not just to Western North Carolina, but to all of the states and all of the folks who have been impacted by this tremendous tragedy. So please go check that out. Please help in any way that you can. This recovery is going to take some time to come. Welcome to day 2 of the morning show. It is a very, very busy market. There's a lot of new things to see, a lot of folks in town. We're not going to get into the traffic discussion because we know where that goes. It's a big place, holds a lot of people, but there is a lot of activity, a lot of new product, and we're going to go take you inside. We're going to talk to some folks around town, see what they're in town for, where they're going. And Cindy, you're going to talk to some interesting people on our show today. Why don't you give folks a little preview of what's coming up?
Absolutely. So we're going to talk with one of our favorites, Barclay Butera, down at the Lexington showroom. And Lexington's got a great presentation this time. I think that's going to elicit a lot of chatter at market. And then we're going to go to the GJ Style showroom as well and talk to Doug Demos there about his retail background and how he's using that to inform what's happening in the showroom. So both are cool showrooms, cool people. It should be great interviews.
For those who don't know, Doug is a Crate and Barrel veteran.
Absolutely.
And has a very unique perspective to bring to the marketplace. So that should be interesting. Barclay always has interesting things. And I'm going to head out on the street and talk to some folks as they're around town and find out how they're doing, what they're finding at market. And we'll take you as we walk around the town.
Welcome to the FT Morning Show. We are here in Lexington Home Brands showroom with one of our favorite guests, Barclay Butera. We're going to take a stroll through the showroom, show you how they've really gotten creative with the presentation this time around, and talk to Barclay about what's happening here.
Well, you know what's unique about this showroom this time is that we cross-merchandise 6 actually collections. So this is how we live. We don't live in like one environment. We live mixed. And what's great about the showroom this time is it shows you how you can cross-merchandise all of my lines together. And it's really, really beautiful. Laguna, one of my collections, is mixed with Newport, and it's a great, great cross-merchandising. You have a lot of like texture and color in Newport, and Laguna is kind of white and woven, and it's really, really beautiful. And when you blend the two, it has color and then white, and it pops. It's how people live. And you know, we start with the carpet up, to tell you the truth. And when you look at the furniture, it's beautiful, and each piece has its own characteristics. And I really love that about Lexington is that we have that quality of furniture, we have symmetry that's going on, and we have, you know, approachable elegance. And so those 3 things all blend really well together. What I envision when I say approachable elegance is that it's for everyone, to tell you the truth. And you don't have to have a beach house or a country house. It actually goes everywhere. And the way we've cross-merchandised, it really, really fits in any home across the nation. Because we're mixing like transitional with traditional. And so you are seeing a mix of these different, you know, categories that I create for Lexington. And one of them is the fact that we can cross-merchandise traditional and transitional together. And, you know, how I kind of create environments and all my licenses, you know, Lexington is that grounding force, and then it allows me to license with other companies, and then we have this like complete look. And so that's what I also love about this showroom is that it's showing you how I would live.
Well, that was great to see Barclay again and see what he's up to. I always enjoy his updates and to see where his innovation and his creativity take him.
You know, it takes a lot to achieve longevity in this industry, and he does it every time. He brings it to the table every time. It's always a pleasure.
Imagine a home where every piece of furniture is as unique as you are. At Violino, we allow mixability, allowing you to mix your container effortlessly with a blend of the latest styles and covers. From classic sophistication to modern flair, stationary or motion, your options are endless. Whether it's bold statements or subtle elegance, mix and match to create the perfect spaces in your showroom. With Violino, mixability reflects you, perfectly balanced, effortlessly mixed. Violino Furniture, style your story.
We are here at High Point Market in the GJ Styles showroom, and there is a lot to talk about here this market. We're here with Doug Demos, the new owner, with his new baby, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So Doug, first of all, tell everybody a little bit who may not know about your background and how that kind of led to your journey here.
Good question. Well, I came up the retail side of the home industry. I spent a lot of years at Pottery Barn as the divisional CFO. And then actually I went over to the Netherlands for a little bit, did a little apparel experience. And when I came back, I joined Restoration Hardware as the Chief Development Officer, and then Crate and Barrel as the CEO. And I even had a brief cup of coffee at Pier 1 prior to their bankruptcy. So I've come up the retail side of the ranks, and then a few years ago, I started my own upholstery manufacturing business in Northern California, and did that for a couple years until I realized I should leave that to the experts.
Yes.
And you know, now I'm here at GJ, and it's been a fantastic experience so far.
You know, I love retail goes wholesale because you bring an entirely fresh perspective, I think. So talk a little bit about sort of the design vibe here.
Yeah, I mean, this is classic. I mean, we're classic European style, right? It's, you know, in a lot of ways, GJ, Glenn and Jill, they were the originators of bringing this look and vibe to the United States. So, you know, the heritage here is just so rich, and that's important to me because I am a student of this game.
Yes.
And to find such a little treasure in this brand and to have an opportunity to take it into the next chapter is really extraordinary.
Now, of course, this is your first market here, right? As owner
Yes.
of the showroom. So, what do you think is what would surprise people when they walk in here? If they've never been into this showroom, what would they be like? Wow.
Oh, I think they would be. Some people are surprised we're even here, right? A lot of folks walk in and say, wow, I've been coming to this market 20 years. I had no idea you were here. And look at this place,
Yes.
right? I think folks would be maybe surprised at how diverse our assortment is, from you know, rugs to, I mean, these marine lights are from retired ships, right? So they used to be on ships, refurbed. I mean, think of the story they have to tell. It's phenomenal. And we're introducing a new custom upholstery program that's made right here in High Point.
Awesome.
Every piece of it's made right here in High Point, and we're really excited to introduce that to our retailers and designers. And our leather, we're known for our classic leather. And if you want a petrified fish, there's nowhere else to go. So come fishing here.
You know, I love that you mentioned the domestic upholstery component because we're hearing a lot of that. But I think, you know, as former retailer and now on this side, you know, you probably have insight into what you think sticks at consumer level.
Yeah.
What do you think sticks?
Well, the consumer is always looking for value, quality, and speed, right? So that certainly sticks. Like with this sectional program, we anticipate having it custom built in the home in 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, nice.
Right, so I'm always looking for opportunities to get quicker, get sharper, and help my retailers win championships, right? Because I know that side of it, so I'm really excited about helping them move units and service their customer. Every time I meet somebody, I'm like, "Where's your shop?" And I'm like, "I'm so excited to come see it someday."
And so what should folks be on the lookout for, let's say, the next 6 months to the year here?
Oh, well, we have some category opportunity in this aesthetic. We're thinking about bedding.
Oh, nice.
So
okay.
bedroom, and we're thinking about office. We're thinking
Nice.
about going deeper in some of the areas that we're in, and a few little surprises here and there that might be a little bit more contemporary, but yet very commercial, and can really help our retailers and designers drive business. Like a track arm like this, I mean, it sells all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to continue to follow along.
Okay.
So, kind of a new kid on the block, but not really. Stay tuned for more information from GJ Styles, and come check out the showroom.
Well, that was a really interesting segment. I won't make you say GJ Styles again. I think we should make that a tongue twister for everybody. But they really have some interesting things, and I was very interested to hear Doug's take on where he's taking the company.
I think it underscores one of the things we're going to be talking about at Leadership later on, and it's the synergy of retail in other different directions, right? So synergy of retail going into manufacturing. We're going to be talking about the synergy between retail and design, designers, how they all come together. It's a fascinating time to watch what people are doing.
I'd like to give a thank you to all of our sponsors, and especially to our headline sponsor, Violino. Please stop by and visit them at the market. You'll see some cool new things, and we do appreciate that support. So thank you to the folks at Violino, and thank you to all of our sponsors. Things like this, programming like this, would not be possible without their support. We're very appreciative.
And we look forward to seeing you at market.
So tell us who else you are talking to today.
So we have a segment with Vision Furniture Manufacturing, and they are basically a downtown High Point furniture factory who has done hospitality and commercial, and has now pivoted to start working with some of the residential manufacturers as well. So they're interested in becoming the domestic private label source for the industry, or one of them. And so we're behind the scenes there. And I think people are going to be surprised to see who's actually there and already on the factory floor, and to watch those partnerships continue to evolve.
The whole sourcing equation is really very much in flux right now. Given the global situation, you really see a lot of activity outside of Asia, whether it's in Mexico or here in the U.S. So it's something we're following closely, and I think this will be an interesting take on where you may see other sourcing opportunities emerge.
It's a conversation that has to happen at just about every level. As you said, because the sourcing from logistics to weather disasters to what have you can really obviously throw business strategies totally to the wind. So I think people are looking for their plan A, their plan B, their plan C, and onward. We're here inside Vision Contract Manufacturing, and we're going to take you on a tour of the factory in just a minute. But first of all, we want to tell you a little bit about how and why we're here. Chris, thanks for letting us come out today.
Thanks for coming out.
So I think, first of all, it's Vision Contract Manufacturing, but that's not what people think. Tell us a little bit about that.
I vision contracts as being OEM private label.
So you've been traditionally, up to this point,
Traditionally hospitality, contract office furniture, as well as residential.
but then not too long ago, you noticed that there was a real demand for domestic. Talk about that.
Domestic residential, I started seeing that more and more people are needing to bring offshore here, especially for MTO, made-to-order furniture.
And talk about some of the partnerships as much as you're comfortable. What has happened since that time? How have you transitioned and shifted a little bit?
Well, we're private label, so I don't divulge too many of my manufacturers that we make. We don't compete with anybody. So we set the company up as being pure private label. So customers, I'm not competing against my customer.
And I think one of the fascinating things is, you are right here in the heart of High Point,
Born and raised.
Furniture capital in the world. So I think people are going to be surprised to find that this capacity exists here for residential. So talk a little bit about the size of the factory, maybe future expansion. What are your capabilities here?
The factory is actually 190,000 square feet. We actually have a lot of room for growth. We're pivoting heavily towards more of the residential, just because I'm seeing the need as far as if people are coming back with tariffs, with the importing issues that we're having right now. I'm seeing that there's a big growth potential.
And when we've talked a lot of times, like we actually have gone around earlier this year to some of our domestic manufacturers and toured the facilities. And there does seem to be a real appetite for made in the U.S. product right now in response to some of these issues.
Well, it's especially when you're looking at the MTO, made to order. Valdez right now, for instance, is stocking fabric that we're able to actually help work with our clients using their fabrics without us having to actually stock it. And then we can do smaller runs.
And so when you think about like the actual production and how you're running the factory here, talk us about where you are now and where you would like to be. Where do you see this going?
Right now, we do a mixture. We do small runs and we do very large runs. So in my hospitality, right now we're doing 2 properties that are over 500 rooms. But with my residential, I do a mixture of both. I do one for one client. We do a stocking program. We do 3 to 4 truckloads a month. I've got other ones that I design pattern the furniture for them, but we're running 5, 10, 15, 20 piece orders. Same SKU, different colors.
And so what do you think manufacturers who might be looking for domestic private label might be surprised to learn about what's happening here?
See, because of the way I've structured the company and being private label, I can keep my margins and my overhead down compared to some of the bigger manufacturers. When I'm realizing with some of my clients that we're actually very close to, we're not far off, especially with the tariffs and with the container issues, that we can actually be very competitive. Also, with one of our clients, they were offshoring it, but they were having to order 4, 5, 6 containers. And with us, we can turn orders around within 4 to 6 weeks, and they don't have to order as much furniture. They're not having to stock as much. And if the product doesn't sell, they're not stuck with it or having to discount it.
And so, we've talked several times about what you have going on here. How big can this go? What's your capacity for growth here?
Right now, I feel we can be about 1,200 pieces a week. It really depends on the product flow. We've got one client that we're doing recliners, which will be a little bit slower, a little bit more expensive. Other ones with just lounge chairs, the capacity, I could staff up right now to about 25 to 30 upholsterers. We don't have that now, but we've already laid the factory out for future growth.
Nice. And, I want to go back to the employees for a minute, because I know, we often hear in the industry that it's hard to find labor. Labor can be an issue for domestic manufacturers, but you're not really having that problem here, and there's a whole company culture behind it.
Well,
talk about that.
Yeah. So when I started the company, I came from another company. I grew up in High Point. I've seen the dungeons of the factories, and I built this factory for the employees. Nito Cobain used to heard him speak once, and he said, "Build a product for the product," and that's my people. So we put a gym in for the employees, put a game room in for the front lobby, and we have a no boundary kind of philosophy here. We don't have an office staff and a factory staff. We're one family. And what's happened is basically my employees are telling other employees, and we treat everybody here as a family. And it's taken a while to build it, but as you walk around and see, I have a very young group of people, and I did that intentionally because I want to replenish our industry. I mean, I grew up here, and I want to see this place it won't ever be what it used to be, but it could be close.
And so, if you look back as a lifelong resident here, and as you look back at how the industry has evolved, what do you think are the challenges and what are the opportunities that lie ahead for domestic manufacturing?
Well, the challenge, I think, is always going to be the employees. it used to be so generational, and you're not having the generational. And then we're also multicultural, and it's building the atmosphere where we can all blend together, but also have a nurturing atmosphere where we can teach and bring on new people and train them up. Working with GTCC, trying to bring an apprentice program over there. And also I have a policy in the factory that you don't have just one job. And we also have a policy of training everybody. So if you have an upholsterer that looks like they could be a good pattern maker, then bring them over and train them. And no jobs in jeopardy.
And, we're going to take a look around at some of the employee amenities as well, but particular back to the furniture itself, right? Let's talk a little bit about what are the challenges and the opportunities for that.
The challenges, the biggest challenge you have is if you're working the different genres of office furniture, hospitality, and residential. It's the same product, similar, but it's different mindsets, so different foams, different construction. But what's unique about, I feel, with High Point is every employee that we've had have worked in the different genres, so they bring their own specialty. So we've got our patterning shop, we've got 5 pattern makers on staff, 2 frame designers on staff, and all of them have worked with Klausner. They've worked in different residential, and they've also worked in contract. So I'd say that's probably the biggest, hardest hurdle, is learning how to make a very soft piece and then turn around and manufacture something that's contract grade.
And, we've talked a little bit about this already, but let's kind of wrap this up with what are the opportunities?
The opportunities are with companies that are trying to come back to the United States. They're wanting to be here to do MTO, made to order, and having a manufacturer that's in the United States that can be similar to the Chinese manufacturers that are making for multiple companies, but know that they have a safe place to manufacture here and we're not competing.
Absolutely. And is there any limit to your potential client list or customer list at this point?
No, we're manufacturing a lot with Motion, Ultramech. We do all the mechanisms, but I do a lot with Ultramech. So we do Motion furniture, recliners, Motion sofas, and then we, working with the sectionals, standard furniture.
And we'll wrap up because this has been a challenging year for a lot of people in the industry, but you're kind of going gangbusters here. So if you had an overall business philosophy that guides your growth, what would that be?
Well, when I built the company, it was an OEM company, and I wanted to manufacture in different genres. So when one went down, one goes up. And that's actually worked over the last 2 years as everything's gotten slow. And has proved my point. We were doing office furniture and it slowed down. And then hospitality picked up, and then residential is slowly grinding, coming back up. And being able to work with multiple companies keeps my factory filled. So we're growing actually quite a bit.
And so the future is bright.
I feel very bright.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to take a look around, and thank you for letting us talk with you today.
Appreciate it.
So that was a really interesting conversation with the folks at Vision. It's interesting to see somebody switch from the hospitality contract side to what you need to do to address the retail consumer.
And, he's got a lot on the ball over there, so he will continue to service his hospitality and commercial customers while growing residential. And he has a lot of potential for expansion as well. So I think we're going to continue to be hearing about what's happening there as well.
Well, good. And I hope there's lots more domestic manufacturing stories to talk about. We've seen some on our earlier show, and we did that domestic manufacturing report in August. So stay tuned. There is a lot of things going on in the market right now.
And it's important to note, I'll just say this to everybody, there are already people reaching out to us for next year's domestic manufacturing report. So I think that's going to be another huge, huge feature for us.
Great.
Discover Leather Italia USA at our High Point showroom. Explore our Savino collection and select the perfect piece for your retail floor. Experience premium Italian-made sofas and sleeper sofas in top grain leather. Partner with our team and we'll ensure outstanding retail success.
We're here in the Durrell Home Showroom with two very special guests, Robert and Courtney Novogratz, who are just coming, well, I guess maybe in the middle of a whirlwind book tour. So we were just talking, you told us a little fun story. Let's kick off with that. Tell us about it.
We were doing the CBS morning show, and we were in the green room, and this real Southern gentleman was there. And I was like, I know this guy for some reason. He was telling some great stories, and he left the room. And I asked the producer, I said, who is that, by the way? And she goes, that's John Grisham. And I was like, oh my God, he's my favorite author in the world. And we're able to have a nice discussion with him after, and a wonderful person. And it was a fun day for us.
And Cindy, he signed our book, and he signed his book, and we signed our book. So it was really great. It was such an honor. We were like, wow, we're officially authors now.
You're official. Well, let's show everybody the book, which is great. Now, you know, we've talked about this a little bit before, but let's tell the audience, what's the inspiration behind this? Why now? Why this?
Well, you know, we've been doing this for almost 30 years, and you know, construction, design, real estate, branding, you name it. And for years, we've had people ask us, you know, how did you get into it? What was your big first move? So we kind of answer a lot of those questions with all our stories through the years.
Any mistakes we've made, we share in the book. All the great things we've done, we also share in the book. But whether you love design, or you're renovating, or you're buying your first apartment, or your first home, or you're just starting your first business, or kind of resetting things, hopefully it'll inspire people that you can do it. You know, it may get a little bumpy along the way, but with a will, there's a way.
What do you think will be the biggest surprise people will take away from the book? What are they going to go like, what?
Well, we actually talk about a lot of the errors we made, and we feel like we all can learn from the mistakes, sometimes more than the wins. So I think we're very candid, and we've had some great successes, and of course we mention those, but we really do talk about some of the bad decisions we've made.
The hardships.
So it's not just it's not all roses.
Let's do a sneak peek. What's one of the bad decisions?
The bad decisions. Well, I guess we hired a bad contractor. That can definitely, you know, set things off. But I think too, what's also important is nobody does it alone. Cindy, you have a whole team here. Market Week is incredible. Durrell Showroom, they have an amazing staff. And Robert and I are fortunate we get to work together, so we kind of get to lean on each other. But no matter what you're starting out, hopefully you have some type of partnership that can really support you, and you can support each other and nurture each other. And so that's the biggest takeaway is, like, you know, again, we've had some success, but we've had a lot of failures. And so we try to take them not too serious, either one of them.
And I think one of the great things about your line has always been it is so family friendly. And I mean, that comes honestly. You guys have seven kids.
Our daughters are here today. One of them works with us, which is really great. And they all are creative. They all love color. A lot of our inspiration for our furniture comes from them. And so we're just happy it is kind of a family affair, for, you know, to say it so
widely. Always to make it look great, comfortable, yet affordable.
And, you know, we're going to take a look around the showroom and show everybody some of the things. But, you know, again, let's dial down a little bit. What are some of your favorite things about the line, the way that it, like, sort of represents your vision?
Right. I think for us, it was really important that we mix high and low in our lives all the time, vintage, modern, new pieces. And we want to tell that story and make people's homes really feel happy, and for them not to be afraid of color. And so all of these products and all of this furniture, it's great sizes, it's solid, you know, it holds up in our family. We believe in it because we use it in our own homes. But it can come to your door and you can easily put it together and kind of become your own decorators and really be able to take risk and feel like you can create and design the life you want. And so that's the biggest part, is when you walk through, you know, whether you want to use green and it feel like more of a neutral, but it's still a pop of color. Our storage lockers are incredible because they could be in a small apartment, a studio in Manhattan where we live, or they could be in your foyer or your mud room if you happen to have a larger house and space.
Very nice. So here, 9th floor, C&D building. Robert and Courtney Novogratz, get the book, learn the inside and out of their 25-year plus career.
Well, that wraps up another market for the morning show. Thank you for tuning in. If you have ideas for segments, we're always eager to hear about what's going on and who's doing interesting things. So please reach out to Cindy or myself and let us know what you're up to.
And don't forget, we are a multimedia organization, so reach out to us early and often so we can make sure that we get the stories out there when they need to be out there.